Growing up, I know that school was something, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it. I was always kind of that kid that had to try really hard. Reading never came naturally to me. I actually had tutors when I was a child. And I think that's one of the things that's really impacted my teaching today and just that empathy I have for kids that are struggling. I went to Emporia State just because of the reputation it has for being such a great school of education. And I had done one college visit to K-State with a friend, and then I went to Emporia with my parents one day, left with a hoodie t-shirt, knew that's where I was going to go immediately. And from then on, it was just set in stone. That was about the time that I had Dr. Seamers for my first class, and he had overheard me talking to someone about how I would love to live in New York City someday. And so he asked me, have you ever thought about grad school? And so, I'd gone down later to the library, and I remember seeing him up on the 3rd floor, and he shouted down at me, hey, why don't you come up to my office? And next thing I knew, that very same afternoon, we were looking up universities in New York and different places, and he showed me NYU, and he showed me Columbia, and some other schools nearby like SUNY, and just said, this is an option. If you want to live in New York, we can make that happen. One of the first things that Dr. Seamers had me do was join the NSTA, or the National Science Teachers Association, on campus. And one of the first things that we did right after I joined was we went to St. Louis for one of the big conferences, and just being involved in that process and being there and going to these big, huge keynote speakers and meeting Bill Nye, it was just this experience that I never thought I would be a part of. I'm very quiet, like I said, and it was one of those things that kind of forced me out of my bubble for the first time. And Dr. Seamers and I continued to kind of grow and build up my resume, and so the next thing we started doing was we started looking at our science and math education center and kind of the impact that it has on student teachers. And next thing I knew, I was presenting at things there on Emporia campus, and then we ended up taking it to Ann Arbor and presenting at Michigan. And it was just these things building on my resume that, again, for someone who's so quiet, it was kind of forcing me out of my comfort zone, getting very nervous for the first time speaking in front of a bunch of people. One of the things I'm very fortunate about is the principal who hired me saw a lot of potential in me, and she knew that I had those leadership skills both through Emporia and through Columbia. So she really pushed me to join some of those committees that the district had. So I first joined a math cadre, which was responsible for piloting different math programs for the district to use for interventions. And so I had that opportunity to start collaborating and working alongside some of the district leaders in that department. And as my confidence grew that, okay, I'm capable of doing this, I started taking on more of those opportunities. So when we implemented our iPads and MacBooks district-wide, I volunteered to be our trainer for the building. So I would go nightly to different classes, learn how to use the technology, and then I was the one responsible to come back and lead different trainings both at our building and district-wide. And so again, these different opportunities continued to build my confidence. And so when the opportunity came up, I actually helped on a small group of 4 to rewrite the district 2nd grade daily math program so it would align with the Common Core standards. And so that was just this big moment of, wow, I've done something huge for my district, and every 2nd grade teacher in the district is using my work. I am so proud to be a Hornet. It's this little gym located right on the edge of the Flint Hills, and it's an experience unlike anywhere else. You aren't just a name on a list and an unknown face to a professor. Your professors know who you are, they're approachable, they want to see you succeed, they're going to do what they need to do to help you. And you just have this opportunity to build relationships you wouldn't be able to get at a bigger school. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am if it hadn't have been for professors like Dr. Seamers and Dr. Smith and my student teaching experience that really pushed me and drove me further than I would have done on my own. And it's just a school that I'm very proud of. And if I had the opportunity to go back in time and pick all over again, I would pick ESU every single time. I'm Lindsey Razafsky, and I'm a Hornet. I also just want to say thank you to my parents for everything that you have done from the moment I started school and I struggled my way through, and you guys sat down every night to help me with my homework, to sitting there and making projects with me for science class, to touring Emporia State with me my first year and knowing that that was the right fit for me and supporting me through Emporia, helping me out when I was at Columbia. All the sacrifices you've made, I love you both, and thank you so much.